Have you ever sat down on a plane, expecting nothing more than a boring flight, and instead found yourself caught in a nightmare you couldn't have imagined? That was me. I thought I was just taking a routine trip, something I had done countless times before. But the moment I buckled my seatbelt and the stranger beside me leaned over with that chilling whisper, everything changed. My name is Sarah, I'm 26 years old, and this is the story of the flight that still haunts me. It all started with an ordinary day. I was flying home after a short business trip. I remember dragging my carry-on through the crowded airport, sipping bad coffee, and thinking about how badly I wanted to just get home, take a shower, and sleep in my own bed. My gate was already buzzing with passengers when I arrived, families juggling kids and strollers, businessmen glued to their phones, couples arguing over snacks. Just the usual airport chaos. I checked my boarding pass, found a seat near the window, and waited for my group to be called. Nothing about the day felt unusual. That's the part that still chills me, how normal it all seemed before everything turned. When they called my boarding group, I walked down the jet bridge like I had 100 times before, the smell of fuel and recycled air already heavy in the air. I found my seat, window, row 14, and settled in. I always liked the window seat, a little bubble of solitude where I could rest my head and escape the world. The middle seat was still empty, but a man soon appeared, tall, lean, with a sharp look in his eyes. He put his bag in the overhead, sat down, and without a word, glanced at me. Something about his expression made me feel uneasy. Not dangerous exactly, but watchful. Like he was cataloging details. I tried to brush it off. People watching was common on flights, after all. I tucked my jacket over my lap and stared out the window, waiting for the rest of the passengers to settle. The cabin was filling quickly, flight attendants pushing past with their cheerful but rushed smiles, voices overhead reminding everyone to buckle up. The middle seat stayed empty, lucky me, until the very last moment, when a young woman rushed down the aisle and slipped in, murmuring an apology as she crammed her bag under the seat. That's when it happened. The man next to me leaned in, his shoulder brushing mine, and in a low, urgent voice, he said, "Act like we're together. And don't look around." My heart stuttered. At first, I thought I'd misheard him. Together. Don't look around. What was he talking about? I froze, my mind spinning, and he continued in the same quiet, firm tone. "Just smile. Nod like I said something funny. Trust me." Against every instinct screaming at me to demand an explanation, I forced a nervous smile, as though he'd just told a joke. My hands trembled in my lap. "Why?" I whispered back. "Because someone is watching you," he said. His jaw barely moved as he spoke, his eyes fixed ahead, calm and steady. "And you don't want them to know you're alone." The words sank into me like ice water. I wanted to turn my head, to scan the cabin, to see who he meant, but his hand tightened slightly on the armrest between us. "Don't. Just look at me. Keep your face calm." I tried to breathe steadily, but my chest felt tight. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind. Was he messing with me? Was this some sick prank? Or was he trying to protect me from something I couldn't see? We sat like that for what felt like forever, though it was probably only minutes. The flight attendants were still helping people stow luggage, still guiding passengers to their seats. The young woman in the middle seat had her earbuds in, oblivious to the tension pressing between us. Finally, when the plane door closed and the crew began their safety demonstration, the man leaned just slightly closer. "Do not panic," he murmured. "2 rows back. A man in a black jacket hasn't stopped watching you since you boarded. Don't look now. Just trust me." My pulse hammered in my ears. 2 rows back. Someone watching me. Why? What had I done? I gripped the edge of my seat, forcing myself not to whip around and check. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but where could I go? We were sealed inside a metal tube, about to lift off the ground. As the plane taxied, I whispered back, "Who are you?" His lips barely moved. "Call me Alex." That was it. No last name, no explanation. Just Alex. The engines roared, the plane accelerated, and my fear twisted tighter with each passing second. I stared out the window as we lifted into the night sky, lights shrinking below, the city falling away. When the seatbelt sign finally dinged off, I turned to him again. What is going on? He looked at me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. I work in security, he said. That man, the one watching you, he's not random. He followed you from the terminal. I noticed him near the gate. He was too focused. Not on me, not on anyone else, just you. My stomach dropped. But why? I don't even know him. Alex shook his head. Doesn't matter. People like him don't pick at random. The question isn't why he picked you. The question is what he plans to do. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. And you're, what? Protecting me. A shadow of a smile flickered on his lips. Let's just say I don't like letting predators roam free. For the next hour, the flight dragged on in unbearable tension. Alex kept his posture casual, occasionally glancing at me, but never turning to look behind. I wanted so badly to peek, to confirm with my own eyes, but every time I shifted, he gave the slightest shake of his head. So I sat there, heart pounding, pretending to nap, pretending to laugh at small comments he whispered now and then to keep up appearances. It wasn't until the drink service that I dared to glance, using the reflective surface of the window as my cover. And there he was, a man in a black jacket, 2 rows back, angled toward me. His face was partially shadowed, but his eyes, they were locked on me, unblinking, like a predator studying prey. I jerked my gaze back to the window, bile rising in my throat. Alex was right. Someone was watching me. Don't react, Alex murmured. We'll handle this when we land. Until then, you're with me. And so began the longest flight of my life. The story continues with Alex keeping Sarah calm, small encounters with the flight attendants, tension rising as the man in the black jacket makes subtle moves, Sarah recalling if she's seen him before, Alex explaining bits of his background in vague, suspenseful hints, turbulence adding fear, Sarah nearly breaking and turning around fully, Alex steadying her hand, whispering that predators look for panic, building toward a climactic landing where Alex prepares her for what's next. The tension unfolds minute by minute, every sound amplified, every movement from the man behind intensifying her dread. When the plane finally lands, Alex insists she walk close to him, tells her not to head for baggage claim, but instead follow his lead. The stranger pursues through the terminal, and only then does Alex reveal he's ex-military, private security, confirming the man has been on watch lists. Sarah realizes her life could have changed forever that night, saved only by the warning of the man beside her. The script builds in deep internal monologue, dialogue exchanges, airport chaos, and an ending where Sarah reflects on how a normal flight became the night she'll never forget. The cabin lights dimmed after drink service, leaving everything cloaked in a sleepy glow. People around us had already settled in, eyes closed, headphones on, flight attendants moving quietly down the aisles. It should have felt peaceful. Instead, it felt like sitting in a trap. My heart hadn't slowed since Alex first whispered to me. Every muscle in my body stayed tense, waiting for something, anything, to happen. Alex leaned just slightly closer, his voice low, steady. He's still watching. Don't flinch. I swallowed hard, pretending to stir my drink. My fingers trembled so badly I almost spilled it. What do we do? For now, nothing. The safest place is in here. He can't try anything with this many people around. The thought should have been comforting, but the way Alex said it made me feel worse. If the only thing protecting me was a cabin full of strangers who had no idea what was happening, then what about when we landed? As if reading my mind, Alex whispered, "We'll have to move carefully after we land. Stick with me, no matter what." I nodded, trying to look casual. Inside, my brain spun in circles. Who was this man in the black jacket? Why me? I wanted to believe it was a mistake, that Alex was overreacting. But I couldn't shake the image I'd seen in the window reflection, the predator's eyes locked on me like he was memorizing every detail. The minutes crawled by. Every so often, I'd hear movement behind me, a cough, the shuffle of feet, and each time, my stomach twisted. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't look. I had to rely on Alex, a stranger I'd just met, who'd somehow stepped into the role of protector. When the turbulence hit, it felt like the plane itself was reflecting my nerves. Drinks rattled, overhead bins creaked, a few people gasped. My seatbelt dug into my lap as the cabin jolted. I gripped the armrest so hard my knuckles ached. Alex leaned closer again, calm even as the plane shook. Breathe. Look at me. I forced myself to. His face was steady, focused, like he'd been in worse situations and knew how to keep his head. That steadiness anchored me, even if just for a moment. When the turbulence smoothed out, I finally whispered, "Why are you helping me?" He hesitated. For the first time, he looked less like stone. Because I've seen what happens when no one does. The words sank deep, heavier than anything else he'd said. He didn't explain further, and I didn't push. I just sat there, staring at him, wondering what stories he carried, what horrors he'd witnessed that made him recognize danger before anyone else could. Hours passed, though I couldn't tell you how many. Time on that flight bent strangely, every second stretching with my fear. I tried to close my eyes, to rest, but every time my lids fluttered shut, I felt those eyes too rose back burning into me. Finally, the captain's voice crackled overhead, announcing our descent. Relief should have rushed over me. Instead, dread sank deeper. Because now the safety of the crowded cabin would dissolve. The man in the black jacket would have his chance. Alex sat up straighter, his tone firmer now. Listen carefully. When we land, don't go to baggage claim. Don't split off. Stay glued to me. What if he follows? I whispered. He will, Alex said. No hesitation, no doubt. Just certainty. That's why you don't look back. I'll handle it. The plane touched down, wheels screeching, bodies jolting forward against seatbelts. My palms were slick with sweat, my throat dry. As we taxied to the gate, Alex adjusted his jacket, slipped something small from his bag into his pocket. I didn't see what it was, but the motion alone made my stomach tighten. The seatbelt sign dinged. Passengers stood, shuffling for overhead bags, eager to escape the cramped cabin. My legs felt like lead as I stood too, clutching my small carry-on. Alex glanced at me, his voice quiet but firm. Stay close. Whatever happens, don't run. We filed off the plane, the press of bodies pushing us forward into the jet bridge. My heart pounded harder with every step. I wanted to bolt, to get lost in the crowd, but I forced myself to match Alex's pace, just as he told me. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw him. The man in the black jacket. He slipped off the plane just a few people behind us, his face expressionless, but his gaze, sharp, unrelenting, fixed on me. Every instinct screamed at me to break into a sprint. But Alex's hand brushed mine lightly, a warning. Steady, he murmured. Not yet. We moved through the terminal, the noise of rolling suitcases and chatter filling the air. I wanted to scream for help, but how would that look? A man walking behind me wasn't illegal. No one would believe me. Alex steered me slightly off the main path, toward a quieter corridor. My pulse skyrocketed. Where are we going? I hissed. Trust me, he said again. Always the same phrase. And for reasons I couldn't explain, I did. The airport felt like a maze designed to test my sanity. Every echo of footsteps behind me sharpened my fear. People bustled around with luggage, kids cried, announcements boomed over the speakers, but all of it blurred into background noise. The only thing I could focus on was the fact that he was still there. I didn't dare glance back, but I didn't need to. I could feel him. The weight of his stare clung to me like static electricity, raising the hairs on my arms. My whole body screamed to run, but Alex's hand brushed my elbow lightly, a silent reminder, stay calm. He steered us down a side corridor, away from the main baggage claim crowd. The lighting dimmed here, fewer people around, the hum of the main terminal fading. My chest tightened. This didn't feel safer, it felt like walking deeper into a trap. I whispered, my voice trembling, why are we going this way? Alex's jaw tightened, eyes scanning the corners. Because it's the only way to get him where we need him. What does that mean? My heart sank at his words. Before he could answer, I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. They matched ours, always a few beats behind, never rushing, never faltering. I froze mid-step, panic threatening to spill over. Alex stopped too, turning to face me, his voice low but steady. Sarah, listen to me. No matter what happens next, stay behind me. And then, the footsteps drew closer. The man in the black jacket emerged from the shadows of the corridor. He wasn't hiding anymore. His pace was calm, his expression unreadable, but his eyes, those piercing, predator eyes, locked onto mine like a hawk spotting prey. My knees nearly buckled. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. Alex stepped forward, squaring himself between me and the man. His voice cut through the tension, firm and unyielding. "It ends here. You're not taking another step toward her." The man tilted his head, a cold smirk tugging at his lips. "You really think you can stop me?" His voice was low, gravelly, carrying an edge that made my stomach churn. My breath hitched. This wasn't just some random creep. There was history here. They knew each other. "Who is he?" I whispered, clutching Alex's sleeve. Alex didn't look back at me. His body was rigid, fists clenched. "He's the reason I don't sleep at night." The man chuckled darkly, taking another step forward. "Still playing the hero, Alex. Some things never change." His gaze flicked to me, hungry, invasive. "And you brought me a gift. How thoughtful." A shiver ripped through me. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. Alex shifted his stance, blocking the man's line of sight. "You're not touching her," Alex growled. "Not now, not ever." The man's smirk widened. "We'll see about that." He reached into his jacket, and my heart stopped. For a split second, I thought it was a weapon. My body jolted with terror. But when his hand emerged, it wasn't holding a gun, it was a folded piece of paper. He held it up slowly, like he wanted me to see it, then tossed it onto the floor between us. It landed at my feet. I stared at it, frozen, until Alex snapped, "Don't touch it." The man chuckled again, turning away, his voice echoing as he walked back into the crowd. "See you soon, Sarah." My blood turned to ice. He knew my name. I staggered back, my breath ragged. How does he know who I am? Alex bent down, snatching up the paper before I could react. He scanned it quickly, his face darkening. Without a word, he crumpled it in his fist, shoving it into his pocket. "Alex, what did it say?" My voice cracked, desperate for answers. He met my gaze finally, his eyes grim. "It means this isn't over. Not by a long shot." And before I could press him further, he grabbed my hand, pulling me back toward the main terminal, as if every second mattered. My heart thundered, questions burning in my chest, but one thing was brutally clear: whatever danger I was in, it went deeper than I could have imagined. The highway lights blurred past as Alex drove, his face set in grim determination. My heart still hadn't slowed. Every image of Mason, his smirk, his eyes, his hand slamming the glass, looped in my mind like a nightmare stuck on repeat. Finally, I forced myself to speak, my voice raw. "You keep saying I look like her. Who is she, Alex? Tell me the truth." He exhaled, long and heavy, his knuckles gripping the wheel tighter. "Her name was Emily. She was my sister." I blinked, stunned. "Your sister? She got caught up with Mason years ago," Alex said, his tone flat, like he'd told the story in his head 1,000 times but never out loud. "He preyed on her, pulled her into his world, used her until she couldn't find her way out. By the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. She disappeared. And I never found her." My stomach dropped. "And you think I look like her?" Alex glanced at me, his eyes full of something heavy. "Not just look. When you walked onto that plane tonight, for a split second, I thought it was her. Same eyes, same way you carried yourself. Mason must have seen it too. That's why he picked you out. To get to me." The weight of it crushed me. I wasn't chosen at random. I was bait. I pressed my hands to my face, shaking. "So what happens now?" "He's not going to stop, Alex. He's going to keep coming." Alex's jaw tightened. "Then we stop running." I dropped my hands, staring at him. "What are you talking about?" His voice was steady, unflinching. "We end this. Tonight." Fear and disbelief tangled in me. "End it. He's dangerous, Alex. We barely got away back there." "That's exactly why," Alex interrupted. "You think he's just going to vanish. He knows your name now. He'll track you, corner you, break you down piece by piece. Unless I cut him off first." The finality in his voice chilled me. But deep down, I knew he was right. Running forever wasn't an option. Mason had marked me. Alex pulled off the highway onto a darker, quieter road lined with warehouses and empty lots. He parked in the shadow of a building, shutting off the engine. The silence was deafening. I clutched my bag, my voice trembling. Why here? Because this is where he'll find us, Alex said, leaning back in his seat. He pulled the crumpled note from his pocket and handed it to me. My hands shook as I unfolded it. Scrawled across the paper in jagged handwriting were the words, "You can't save her this time." My breath caught. He's coming here. Alex nodded. That's what he wants. A final round. He won't stop until he gets it. I wanted to argue, to scream, to beg Alex to drive away. But headlights appeared in the distance, cutting through the darkness, growing closer. My heart lurched. It's him. Alex's voice was calm, steady. Stay low. Don't move until I say. The car pulled up slowly, stopping just yards away. Mason stepped out, his black jacket glinting under the dim streetlights. His smirk was gone. This time, his face was sharp, hungry, ready. He walked toward us, every step deliberate. You can't run forever, Alex, he called out, his voice carrying through the night. And this time, you've dragged her into it. Just like Emily. The name sliced through me like a blade. Alex stepped out of the SUV, knife in hand, body rigid. She's not Emily, and you're not taking her. Mason laughed, the sound cold and sharp. Always the hero, but you can't save everyone. You proved that already. His eyes flicked to me through the windshield. Come on out, Sarah. Let him watch you break. I froze, every muscle locking. Alex growled, stepping closer. You'll never touch her. The standoff stretched, heavy with silence, until Mason lunged. The two men clashed, the sound of fists and grunts echoing through the empty lot. I ducked low in the car, trembling, but I couldn't look away. Alex fought with precision, every move sharp, controlled, but Mason was wild, vicious, fueled by something darker than rage. The knife flashed between them, striking sparks against the pavement. Alex! I screamed, terror ripping through me. The fight blurred in my vision, bodies slamming against metal, fists cracking, groans of pain filling the night. Finally, with a desperate push, Alex drove Mason back, the knife pressed to his throat. Mason froze, his chest heaving, eyes blazing. Do it, he spat. End it, just like you ended her. Alex's hand trembled. For the first time, I saw doubt flicker across his face. I scrambled out of the SUV, my voice breaking. Alex, stop. This isn't who you are. He looked at me, his chest heaving, sweat dripping down his face. Mason sneered, sensing hesitation. You don't have the guts. For a heartbeat, time held still. Then Alex shoved Mason hard to the ground, the knife clattering across the asphalt. He stood over him, chest heaving. No, I won't be you. Mason snarled, trying to rise, but flashing lights cut across the lot. Sirens wailed. Police cars screeched to a halt, doors flying open. Officers poured out, weapons drawn. Hands on the ground. One shouted. Mason froze, his smirk returning as he slowly raised his hands. Took you long enough. The officers swarmed him, forcing him to the ground, cuffing his wrists. He didn't resist. His eyes just found mine one last time, burning with promise. This isn't over, Sarah. The word sent a shiver down my spine. But then he was shoved into the back of a cruiser, swallowed by flashing lights. I turned to Alex, my legs giving out beneath me. He caught me, holding me steady, his voice soft for the first time. It's over. You're safe now. But deep inside, as I watched the police cars disappear into the night, I couldn't shake the feeling Mason was right. That this was just the beginning.